Hi everyone, welcome to Study Buddy Homeschooling. In today's session, we'll be seeing CBSE Class 10 English, Glimpses of India. It has three chapters: A Baker from Goa by Lucio Rodrigues, Coorg by Lokesh Abram, and Tea from Assam by Arup Kumar Datta. So in today's session, we'll be seeing A Baker from Goa by Lucio Rodrigues. So let's begin the first story, A Baker from Goa by Lucio Rodrigues. It's very important to remember the author's name, Lucio Rodrigues, with the correct spellings. This is a pen portrait of a traditional Goan village baker who still has an important place in his society. This is a pen portrait. Pen portrait refers to any casual description. So here is a casual description or a pen portrait of a traditional Goan village baker. So we all know where is Goa located. Goa is located in the southwest part of India between Karnataka and Maharashtra. Baker. Who is a baker? One who bakes cake is known as baker. He makes cakes, bread, buns, etc. So this is a pen portrait or a casual description of a traditional Goan village baker. So let's go to the story. This was written by Lucio Rodrigues. He says, our elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically. Reminiscing nostalgically refers to thinking goodly about the past, thinking about the good deeds of the past, thinking about the good things of the past. It's about remembering good old memories. So our elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically, thinking about the good old memories about those good old Portuguese days. The Portuguese and their famous loaves of bread. So we all know that Goa was ruled by Portugal for a very long time. From 1510 AD to 1961, Goa was under Portugal control. So they would have left behind lots of their culture. Since they ruled for about 450 years, their culture is very much embedded in Goa. And their famous loaves of bread. What do you mean by loaves of bread? This is known as the loaves of bread. When it's made in bakery, it's made in huge loaves. Then when we get it in shop, it's cut into pieces. Those eaters of loaves might have vanished, but the makers are still here. Those eaters of loaves might have vanished. Vanished means disappeared. So the Portugal, who are the eaters of loaves, have disappeared. They've disappeared in 1961 only. But the makers are still there. Yes, they are still in the Goan villages. We still have amongst us the mixers, the molders, and those who bake the loaves. So the Goans, the Portuguese people have left. They are the eaters of the breads, but they have left. But still what we have in Goa, the mixers, the molders, and those who bake the loaves. So mixers are those machines that used to mix the wheat. Molders are like imprints. You can see in the images here, these are the molds. Through these molds we'll get breads, buns of cakes of different shapes. These molds are used for making different shapes. Those age-old time-tested furnaces still exist. Furnaces are places where the breads and cakes are baked. You can see here, it's an image of a furnace. This is where bread, cakes and other biscuits are being made. This is like an oven. The fire in the furnaces has not yet been extinguished. So Portugal people left, but the fire in the furnaces they started is still going on. The thud and the jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo. The thud refers to any loud noise. The jingle is like a bell sound. The thud and the jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo heralding his arrival in the morning can still be heard in some places. So still it's going on. Portuguese left in the year 1961. Still the traditional baker's noise is heard every morning in some places. Maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. The father might have died, but still the son is doing the job of baking and selling it. These bakers are even today known as Pader in Goa. So these bakers still exist even now. They are called as Pader. So you have to remember that Portuguese left in way back in 1961, but still they have left behind the baking. The mixers are there, the molders are there, the furnaces are still there, and people are still into baking. Fathers might have died, but the son is still doing the job of baking it and selling it. So the bakers are even today known as Pader in Goa. During our childhood in Goa, this is what the author says, Lucio Rodrigues, he remembers his childhood. The baker used to be our friend, companion, and guide. So he says the baker used to be the friend, companion, and guide. He used to come at least twice a day. So he comes 2 times in a day. Once when he set out in the morning on a selling ground, and then again when he returned after emptying his huge basket. So he comes twice in a day, once in the morning with a basket full of all his bread loaves, and he goes past selling, and again in the evening he comes back with the basket empty after selling everything. The jingling thud of his bamboo woke us up from sleep, and we ran to meet and greet him. Why was it so? He used to carry a long bamboo stick by which he makes sound hitting at the ground. So the author used to wake up after the noise of the bamboo. Why was it so? Why was he waking up so early after hearing the noise? Was it for the love of the loaf? Was it for the bread? Not at all. The loaves were bought by some Pasquin or Bastine, the maid servant of the house. The author was never interested in the bread loaf. It was brought by Pasquin or Bastine, the maid's name of the house. They are the maids of the house. What we longed for were those bread bangles, which we chose carefully. Sometimes it was sweet bread of special make. So the author Lucio Rodrigues was interested in the bread bangles. What are the bread bangles? It looks something like this here in the picture. It looks like bangles, and when it's taken fresh out of the oven, it breaks like the bangles with a noise. So author Lucio Rodrigues was very much fond of this bread bangles made by the baker or a pader. The baker made his musical entry on the scene with a jang jang sound. So he made his entry with a jang jang sound with a bamboo stick which he was carrying. Sound of a specially made of bamboo stuff. One hand supported the basket on his head and the other banged the bamboo on the ground. So he had the basket full of loaves on his head, and one hand was holding the basket, with the other hand he used to make the noise on the ground so that people can know baker is coming. He would greet the lady of the house with good morning. So he would say good morning to all the lady folks, and then place his basket on the vertical bamboo. So he will place the vertical bamboo on the ground, and on the vertical bamboo he is placing the basket with loaves so that he could sell. We kids would be pushed aside with a mild rebuke, and the loaves would be delivered to the servant. So he never encouraged the kids much because probably he thought they would throw off the basket, something would happen to the basket of loaves. So he would slightly scold the kids. Rebuke means scolding. Slightly ask them to move away, not to come near the basket, and he would ask the servants to take the loaves. But we would not give up. But the kids were like, they're not going to listen to what the baker is saying. He just silently says, scolds them, go away. But they don't listen. We would climb a bench or a parapet and peep into the basket. Somehow, I can still recall the typical fragrance of the loaves. So, still the author and his friends were all kids. They were like very curious. They want to see what's inside the basket. So they will just climb up on the wall or parapet wall or bench, or just want to see what's there in the basket, which is placed on the vertical bamboo stick. They still can remember the fresh fragrance of those loaves. They are made fresh early in the morning, and the fragrance or the smell, fragrance refers to the smell. The smell is still coming out of the basket. Loaves for the elders and bangles for the children. So elders loved the bread loaves and the children loved the bread bangles. Then we did not even care to brush our teeth or wash our mouths properly. So after this, they don't even bother. As soon as they got up from bed when they heard the baker's noise, they just are not bothered about brushing. Why? Why would we? Who would take the trouble of plucking the mango leaf for the toothbrush? So they have to do those times where they had to pluck a mango leaf and brush. But they were not bothered about it right now. And was it necessary at all? The author says, was it necessary? The tiger never brushed his teeth. He's making fun here. The tiger never brushed his teeth. So why should we brush? Hot tea could wash and clean up everything so nicely after all. And he says, what's the point in brushing? Is the tiger brushing the teeth? Then why should we brush? If we take hot tea, that's enough. That will clean up everything. So they were not even interested in brushing, but they were very interested in eating the bread pieces. So now let's move to the questions. Oral comprehension check. What are the elders in the Goa nostalgic about? So the elders in the Goa are nostalgic about the good old Portugal days when they had left behind paders or bakery people. They used to bake awesome breads and cakes. So they were nostalgic about the Portugal people and their bread making skills. Is bread making still popular in Goa? How do you know? Bread making is still popular in India, and padés do still exist, and their breads and buns are still popular in Goa. What is a baker called? The baker is called a pader. When would the baker come every day? Why did the children run to meet him? The baker came twice. Once in the morning with the basket full of breads, and again after selling, when the basket is empty, when he used to return back, he used to come back again. The children used to hear his noise. So the baker came twice. Why did the children run to meet him? Because they wanted to see what varieties he got. They were particularly interested in the bread bangles. So now let's move to the next part of the comprehension. Marriage gifts are meaningless without the sweet bread known as a bowl. So marriage gifts, definitely the sweet bread has to be there, which is known as bowl. Just as a party or a feast loses its charm without bread. Just as party for feast they use bread, similarly for marriage gifts bowl was used. Not enough can be said to show how important a baker can be for a village. Now we know how important a baker is for a village, because whenever there is marriage, he has to make bowl. Whenever there is any party or feast, again they depend on bread for it. The lady of the house must prepare sandwiches on the occasion of a daughter's engagement. So for a daughter's engagement, sandwiches are prepared. Cakes and bolinas are a must for Christmas as well as other festivals. So for Christmas and other festivals, cakes and bolinas are important. Bolinas are like cookies or biscuits which are made from semolina and coconut. Semolina refers to suji or rava, and so these bolinas are made from suji, rava and coconut. Thus, the presence of baker's furnace in the village is absolutely essential, obviously, because baker plays a very important role. His furnace plays a very important role in providing breads and other stuff for marriage, for parties, for daughter's engagement. Sandwiches are prepared for which bread is being used, and cakes and bolinas for Christmas. For any function, the villages dependent on the baker. The baker or the bread seller of those days had a peculiar dress known as kabai. So, during those days refers to the days of the Portuguese. When Portugal people were there, they had a peculiar dress known as kabai. It was a single piece long frock reaching down to the knees. So this kabai dress was worn during the Portuguese days. When Portuguese were ruling, the bakers used to wear a dress known as kabai. It was a single piece long frock. It was just like an apron long frock till the knees only. Okay. In our childhood, we saw bakers wearing a shirt and trousers which were shorter than full length ones and longer than half pants. So, when the author is writing, when he was young, the dress had changed. During the Portugal days, it was kabai, which was a single piece long frock. But when the author was young, he remembered that the dress has changed from kabai. What was the dress? It was a shirt and trousers which were shorter than full length ones but longer than half pants. It's like 3 by 4th. It's longer than the half pants but shorter than the full pants. Previously during the Portugal days it was kabai. Now it has changed to something else. It's more or less like 3 by 4th pant. More than half pant but less than full length ones. Even today, anyone who wears a half pant which reaches just below the knees invites a comment that he is dressed like a pader. So even today, whoever is wearing a dress which is longer than the knee but shorter than the full level, like 3 by 4th, whoever is wearing 3 by 4th pant, trousers, he's called like, he's looking like a pader. The baker usually collected the bills at the end of the month. So at the end of the month only, he used to collect the bills, the money. He used to collect the money. The monthly accounts used to be recorded on some wall in pencil. So he used to make records in some wall in pencil. Baking was indeed a profitable profession in the old days. It was very much profitable. He was able to make good money. The bakers used to make good money. That's why they say profitable. The baker and his family never starved. Starved means they never were short of food. They had enough food. The baker and his family had enough food and they were never had to go hungry. He, his family and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. So not only he and his family, his servants also looked happy and prosperous, which shows that they were making good money. Their plump physique was an open testimony to this. Plump physique. Plump physique refers to bulged structure. It means they are not thin or lean. They are healthy. They are looking healthy, more rounded with a plumpy structure. This shows that they are eating well. Even today, any person with a jackfruit-like physical appearance is easily compared to a baker. So even today, who is looking like jackfruit, like, plumpy, he is compared to a baker. So you can imagine how rich and happy they were, how much money they were making, and how profitable business baking was, and how their family, their servants, everybody was happy, and they were able to eat meals all the time. They were able to afford food all the time, and they were leading a happy and healthy lives. So let's go to the oral comprehension check. Match the following. What is a must? As marriage gift, a sweet bread called known as bowl. Correct? For a party or a feast, it was bread. For daughter's engagement, it was always sandwiches. the mother has to make for the daughter's engagement. For Christmas, it was cakes and bolinas. Bolinas are like cookies or biscuits made of suji and coconut. Second question. What did the bakers wear in the Portuguese days when the author was young? So in the Portuguese days, they used to wear a long frock known as cabai. It was a single long frock-like dress which went slightly till the knees or slightly above the knees. So when the author was young, it had changed. How did it change? It had changed to a pant and a shirt, but the pant was more than the knee length but lesser than the full length. It was like a 3/4 pant. 3. Who invites the comment? He is dressed like a pader. Why? Who invites the comment? A person who is wearing 3/4 pant. Like the pant should be more than knee level but lesser than the full pant. Whoever is dressed like that, he says he is dressed like a padar because the padars used to dress like that only. That's why he is called like a padar. So padars used to wear pants and shirt. The pant was like more than knee length but lesser than the full pant. That's why who are dressed that way were called as padar. Fourth question. Where were the monthly accounts of the baker recorded? The monthly accounts were recorded on the wall with a pencil. Fifth question. What does a jackfruit-like appearance mean? Jackfruit-like appearance means that it's plumpy. The person is plumpy and healthy. He is eating well. He is not starving. He is definitely not thin or lean. So the bakers were considered to have a jackfruit-like appearance. So whoever had a jackfruit-like plumpy appearance, they were easily compared to a baker because bakers were really healthy because they were making good money and they were eating well. Let's move to the next part. Thinking about the text. Which of these statements are correct? The pader was an important person in the village in old times. Yes, he was definitely a very important person because he used to be part of all the festivals. His role was very important. Second question. Paders still exist in Goan villages. Yes, they do exist in the Goan villages. Till now they are existing. Third point. The Paders went away with the Portuguese. No, it's not true. Paders are still there. The Paders continue to wear a single piece long frock. No, they don't. The Paders used to wear the single piece long frock when the Portuguese were there. Even when the author Lucio Rodrigues was young, the dress has changed to shirt and pant, but it was like a 3/4 pant. Bread and cakes were an integral part of Goan life in old days. Yes, definitely. It was very much part of all their festivals, Christmas and any parties. Yes. Traditional bread making is still a very profitable business. Yes, it is still a very profitable business. Paders and their families starve in the present times. No, they don't starve. Their business is still doing well and still they are very much in demand and hence are doing well. Second question. Is bread an important part of Goan life? How do you know this? Yes, bread is definitely an important part of Goan life because be it any festivals or marriages where bowl is used, for a daughter's engagement, sandwich is used, and for Christmas and other festivals, cakes and bolinas are used. So all this involves bread. So bread is definitely part of Goan life. Third question, tick the right answer. What is the tone of the author when he says the following? Tone refers to the mood of the author and we have to tick the right answer. The thud and the jungle of the traditional baker's bamboo can still be heard in some places. So thud and the jingle. Thud refers to loud noise and the jingle is like bell sound of the traditional baker's bamboo can still be heard in some places. So here there are three options given: nostalgic, hopeful, sad. So here it refers to nostalgic. Nostalgic refers to thinking about the old memories of the past. So can be still be heard. So the author is thinking about the good old days of the Portuguese as said by the elders. Maybe the father is not alive but the son still carries on the family profession. Is it nostalgic, hopeful or sad? It's not nostalgic. Maybe father is not alive, but still son carries the family profession. It's nostalgic. Third point, I still recall the typical fragrance of this loaves. Is it nostalgic, hopeful and naughty? So he is able to still remember the typical fragrance when he was a child. That is nostalgic again. The tiger never brushed his teeth. Hot tea could wash and clean up everything so nicely after all. It's being funny here. Cakes and bolinas are a must for Christmas as well as other festivals. Sad, hopeful and matter of fact. Cakes and bolinas are a must for Christmas. It's a matter of fact. It's a truth. It's a fact. The baker and his family never starved. They always looked happy and prosperous. So it shows that the baker and his family never starved. They always looked happy and prosperous. This is a matter of fact. This is a truth. Thanks for watching. Please do leave your comments in the comment section. And please do subscribe to our channel. Thank you.